What is up, my dogs? Welcome back to Very Good Cocktails. I'm Alex Vasili. This is episode 14. Oh my god, 14, dude. As always, I'm back here with Trent and Autumn.
What's up?
Say what up. Autumn is manning the chat or womaning the chat as she always does, and Trent is here to spur conversation. But we have a couple extra guests with us today.
Yes.
Our dear friend Haley, who's been here before, and our dear friend Lucy. This is Lucy's first time joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we are, of course, at our beautiful home here at Gold Diggers in East Hollywood, California. We are so grateful for them giving us a beautiful home, and honestly, it's more of a booze playground than a bar at this point. We've been having a lot of fun. So yeah, but yeah, we're going to teach you guys how to make some very good cocktails today. And the beneficiary of today's cocktail class, as you see, there's a little donation thing scrolling across the bottom. All of the donations of today's class go to the Harold Robinson Foundation. It's an organization that is near and dear to my heart. What they do is they work with kids in South Central LA. They give them love, attention, access to the arts, access to higher education, and they do a lot of this through like retreats that they take them up north, close to Six Flags. There's a beautiful campground that they own, or I'm pretty sure they own it. But I've been there. It's beautiful. But they get these kids out of South Central LA, take them up to a place where they are showered with love and nurture and nutrition and all of the good things that, honestly, the future of music, in my world, music, but I mean, there's so many different arts. I've only been there to do music with the kids, but they do so much to give these kids opportunities that the other kids their age get that they don't. So we are happy to send them as much money as we can. Feel free to send money via Venmo on Very Good Cocktails. Yeah, woo! Via Alex Vasili on Cash App. Either way, or honestly, you can go right to their website and donate directly to them. They are a nonprofit, and shout out to Angela for reaching out to me, the homie. I will happily work with Harold Robinson Foundation anytime. So we'll talk all about Harold Robinson Foundation throughout the evening, but I really want a cocktail right now, so I'm going to kick things off. Normally I have this little guy open. There we go.
That's good for your face ID.
Oh, dude, come on, Apple. There we go. Let's see.
No.
There we go. All right, cool.
Hey, don't share. They might not
today,
see.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we're going to be specializing in agave spirits. So that, for those of you who aren't familiar, generally speaking, that's tequila and mezcal. We're going to dive into it a little bit more, but there's like nothing worse than a cocktail class where you don't have a drink in your hand. So let's kick this off the right way. Exactly. So when making a cocktail, especially a shaken cocktail, you want to make sure, and you'll hear me say this many times throughout the class, you want to have your beginning, middle, and end ready to go. So beginning meaning your ingredients, the middle meaning your technique, and the end meaning your glassware. So like if you're cooking or if you're at a restaurant and the chef makes a beautiful dish and then all of a sudden there's no plate ready to put the dish in, you're totally screwed, and we don't want that. So we want to have everything ready to go so that the cocktail is freshest right when it's done. So we're going to, as we start any cocktail, put the cheapest ingredient into the shaker first, just in case you screw it up. You're not costing yourself money by pouring expensive tequila down the drain. So you'll notice it's in order here on purpose. For those of you at home, if you haven't had a chance to squeeze your fresh lime juice, go ahead and do that while I explain this cocktail. If you have pasteurized, like real lime juice, go ahead and do yourself a favor and throw that as far as you can away from you, maybe into the street, and then go pick it up because littering sucks. But you know, like it's trash. We don't use pasteurized juices; they're more expensive. They like might stay. They don't rot as quickly.
Like throw that into a chicken marinade.
Dude.
Blister it on a hot fire later.
It's exactly. It's cheaper to use real fresh ingredients. So I'm using fresh lime juice. You'll thank yourself for doing that. 1 ounce of that, and then 1 ounce of simple syrup. This is just equal parts sugar and water, mixed or dissolved together until homogeneous, if you will.
Okay.
So yeah. And for those of you who aren't drinking alcohol, you can add soda water to this and call it a day. And it's delicious. Limeade. Who doesn't love it? For those of you who are drinking alcohol, as I grab
your
this
handle Espolón.
1.75 liter of Espolón, we're going to add 2 ounces of this to the glass.
Big shout out to Total Wine for mismarking this.
Yeah, to the shaker.
Really?
Yeah, so really quick story about this bottle. I like Corazon tequila. It's like cheap and middle of the road and easy to use. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. I can freely speak about whom I like and who I do not. Although there's no alcohol I don't like, so there's that.
Yeah.
But this bottle, I was looking for Corazon, and they didn't have it, so the rep was there, and he's like, oh, well, try this one out. $65 for a handle. I like buying handles because, they last longer, and by the ounce it's cheaper. But I didn't see a price tag on where this bottle was, and I walked over and I said, dude, can you show me how much the Espolón is? And he scanned it, and this was $35, which is, and he immediately took the bottle he recommended out of my hand and handed me this and said, you must buy this. It's $35. So if you're in the Pasadena area and you are
get up there fast.
Exactly. If you're at a Total Wine and Spirits, go and get yourself a handle of Espolón. It's solid reposado tequila. We love it.
They do not thank us for the emergency inventory that was called on that fucking staff that night.
When I checked out, the dude scanned it and shook his head, and I think it was just whatever, So we're here and we're happy about that. Okay, we're gonna shake this cocktail. This is probably the easiest cocktail we're gonna make tonight. And if you don't have tequila at home, you can literally use any spirit with this: vodka, gin, mezcal. Rum, it will be great. It's technically a gimlet with any other alcohol, and we can go into detail.
That's the family, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk family?
We can. It's a long, lengthy discussion, and I want this cocktail in my bloodstream.
Great.
So
Let's get it in.
We'll get it in. Okay.
Let's get it in.
Purposeful
Exactly.
Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Exactly. But I'm talking a long time. Hopefully you've had time to squeeze those limes at home. Is kind of what I'm trying to do. What we're going to do is we're going to shake this cocktail, though. And if there's nothing you take away from the class, I say it week after week, it's that we're doing 3 things when we're shaking a cocktail. We are mixing the ingredients, we are chilling the cocktail and diluting it, and we are aerating. So we put ice into the shaker, and when we shake it, the ice acts like a piston, bashing itself to pieces on either end of the shaker, pumping air into the cocktail. If we weren't aerating this, it would kind of be like syrupy tequila limeade, which honestly I drink, but we don't want that. We want chilled, light, luscious, delicious goodness. Yeah. So I'm going to fill my shaker 2/3 of the way full with ice. If you have just the kind of shaker that has a little cap, that's totally cool too. Whatever you're using. Autumn has used Tupperware at our house before.
Smart. The old deli shake?
Yeah, the old deli shake.
I'm not above it, dude.
Exactly.
I'll shake a deli and drink it right out of it.
Perfect.
Rip the lid off to the dome.
We've worked in restaurants. We know how this goes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to shake this. And when we're shaking this cocktail, use your ears to know that you're shaking it correctly. Meaning I want to hear a maraca sound, instead of a washing machine sort of rapid stirring. So we're aerating, we're driving air into the cocktail. I can already hear the air trying to escape. So now listen, this is how we want that chicka 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 sound. Cool. I know it's done because I can hear the air trying to escape. It's kind of squeaking out because it's been aerated. I can take my fingernails and scrape a tiny bit of ice off the outside of the tin. And when I open it up and look inside, there's a beautiful white frothy foam, which is what we're always looking for. Right? Yeah, dude. Cool.
Frothy foam.
Dude.
See, Waz likes this. Normally I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Looks good. Yep.
Normally I double strain all of my shaken cocktails, and we'll get into that later. But I'm going to pour this into a glass and then add ice to it. So it's okay to just pour, or to single strain it into the glass. Some people like to put salt onto the outside rim of a margarita. That is totally cool. You'll also see restaurants put limes, like a lime wedge or a lime quarter, onto the outside of a margarita. I really don't like when places do that because I've already, you'll throw off the balance if you just squeeze a bunch of lime into this. And if you want extra lime, you just tell the bartender you want extra lime. But I'm not going to give you an opportunity to ruin the drink that I've just made for you. So as we cheers every time to our beneficiary of choice, I'm going to raise this glass. I'm going to drink this one. Normally I give the drinks away, and we will. We have enough for everyone here today, but I'm going to enjoy this margarita. Cheers to the Harold Robinson Foundation. Cheers to you, Angela, for reaching out. And cheers to everyone in the chat. Yeah, woo.
Cheers.
Woo.
Let's go.
Cheers to the chat.
So CJ says, "What's up, homie?
What up?
What's up?"
He says he's now inspired to make Jeroboam Espelon a thing.
What is it?
Jeroboam. Am I saying it correctly?
What?
The giant wine. Jeroboam Espelon.
Espelon Reposado Tequila. What?
Jeroboam.
Oh, the big
It's like
one
a
with
big
the handle.
Oh,
Don't you, like,
yeah.
Is the thing you do?
The like
Oh,
wine
a Perron.
bong,
A Perron?
the wine bong thing.
A Perron, Piroon.
Jeroboam.
Gyro bomb?
How do you spell that?
Euro?
I have no
Euro?
idea. But
They're
CJ.
like bigger than Magnums.
Oh.
It's a 5-liter bottle.
Oh my god.
Technically.
There's
That's
no
full-on.
wonder I've never heard of that. I've only seen those in the Studio Paris cooler before. I've never had to pour one of those for a guest.
They're
But
impossible.
I was gonna say you have to put it in a sling and like lift it. You know, it's probably weighs what 500 pounds,
man.
400 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, no, 5 liters. 5 liters. isn't that
Maybe
much.
pushing 150 to the maybe like a human body.
I
what
feel like
that
a
would weigh.
liter is like 2 pounds or 3 pounds.
Yeah, a liter's like this. You know.
So 5 liters is like 50.
Oh, I thought you were talking about these big jugs.
Wait,
I thought we were off that.
Well,
now.
if you're weighing the glass too, then it's more.
True.
Yeah, maybe not 100 though.
All right,
I
beautiful.
don't know what we're talking about.
Talking
Just
about
for context, Magnum.
Yeah.
This is a Jeroboam.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Hi, look at that lady, dude.
Dude, sommelier.
Lady smiling with evil intent. Here, yeah, hold it up. Can you hold it up? Here, I can hold it.
Yeah, is she's holding the Jeroboam?
This is a Magnum.
Dude.
That's a Jeroboam.
Love it.
Can you spell Jeroboam?
Jeroboam.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Jeroboam.
Jeroboam.
Oh.
I'm
Eddie, I was thinking of like
Jeroboam.
what they keep Slivovica in Serbia, which are like giant urns. And I was like, yeah, those weigh like 100 pounds full. Like, that thing's fucking heavy.
That's not what we're doing. This is delightful. It's a perfect balance of tart and sweet. I taste the tequila. I taste the lime. I taste the sugar. This, like I said, is the easiest, most replicatable recipe. Is that or replicable?
Replicable.
Replicable. Forgive me. The tequila is working.
Or repeatable.
Yeah, exactly. You can totally sub out any spirit, and CJ will make fun of me for using an ounce of sugar instead of 3/4 of an ounce. But that's okay, CJ. This is my show today, and I want to just say thank you if you're still online for a wonderful class last week. I learned so much. We had a great time. CJ is the beverage director of the Fairmont Century Plaza Hotel, and we had a really informative class with him last week. All right, moving on. I'm trying to remember what's next. Oh, yes.
Ooh,
of course.
We love them.
We love Palomas, dude.
Fans in the room.
My Paloma.
Yeah, there we go. So Paloma translates to dove, literally. This is one of my favorite cocktails, and I'm going to show you a trick to take it to the absolute next level. If you think a Paloma is just tequila and grapefruit, you are right. But you could be more right, if that makes sense. Generally speaking, if you go to Mexico City or whatever and order a Paloma, it's like grapefruit Jarritos and tequila, which is fire.
Pretty bomb.
Exactly. But my trick that I didn't write down here, but I'll show you, is a pinch of salt. That is what sets off a Paloma. Yeah, so we're going to start with the cheapest ingredient first, as always, which is, what did I write down for this one?
Grapefruit.
Yeah, exactly. 3 ounces of grapefruit juice. Okay, so this is ruby red grapefruit juice, which totally works fine. This is freshly squeezed. This is not from a carton. One grapefruit costs way less than a carton of grapefruit juice. And if you can find white grapefruits, use white grapefruits. They're sweeter. We were just talking about how delightful they are, how much I'm obsessed with them. You can drink the juice without any bitterness. There's a lot of lemon notes, a little bit of tangerine. It's the best. Ruby red, though, is totally fine, cheaper and more available. But if you can find white grapefruit, for sure, use white grapefruit. So I'm gonna shake my Paloma before I build it in the glass. I think aerating it I'm going to dry shake it because I'm going to pour it over ice. But I think aerating it just gives it a lighter, as we were saying, luscious. Can we say the word luscious?
Yeah.
We use that word. So I'm going to pour here from a pint glass, generally messy. What's that, 3 ounces?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So 3 ounces, just like that. I'm also using a highball glass for this one. Notice I have my beginning, middle, and end ready. If you're making drinks for multiple people at home, when we're allowed to in the year 2034, when you have guests back at your house, a really easy way to remember if you're making multiple drinks for multiple people is to put the glassware in front of wherever your little station is. So say I'm making a daiquiri and a Paloma, I'll have 2 sets of shakers, and that's what we do behind the bar professionally. That's what a lot of restaurants and places will do, is put the assigned glassware first so you can remember what it is you're making. Cool? Next is our big boy, Espolón tequila. And this is 2 ounces, right?
Yeah, two all day, chef.
Exactly, 2 all day. There we go. So if you're feeling like you want a mixed drink, you're done right there. You just pour it on ice, and that is totally cool. I'll never vibe you for it. But I'm going to show you just a little tiny pinch of salt. We'll set it off. I'm telling you, I'm going to give this a quick whip shake. So just like this to kind of get it frothy.
Oh, with no ice.
No ice?
Yeah. We'll dry
A dry shake.
Dry shake.
A whip shake.
Yeah,
A whip dry.
A dry shake means there's no ice in there. A wet shake means there's ice. And you see it's frothy and foamy and lovely. And we haven't even added the soda water to it yet. So now I'm going to take the largest, prettiest, biggest ice cubes I can find into our glass. Let's just do that many. And I'm going to do what CJ recommended last week, which is pour our soda water into the shaker. I'm just going to loosely pour, I don't know, maybe 1.5 ounces. What did I put in there? 1 ounce? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. This is a pretty Roadhouse cocktail. But you just pour it in, and it should be perfect.
That's a good Paloma.
Yeah.
There we go.
Pretty.
This is such an easy drink, and we always talk about making drinks that are greater than the sum of their parts. This is 3 ingredients: grapefruit juice, tequila,
and 1 secret
ingredient. Yeah, salt, and I guess soda water. But yeah, I'm not going to put a grapefruit rind on this because I don't want you squeezing more grapefruit juice into this to throw off the balance. Excuse me, who would like this cocktail?
Me.
Lucy would like it. There we go.
I do want it.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
So give it a taste. Tell us what you think. What does it taste like?
Tastes like hope.
Yeah.
Tastes like spring has sprung. Tastes like summer's coming. We're going to be dancing a lot.
Yes.
But refreshing. I can still taste the tequila. I love what you mean about not putting too much garnish on because I am the person who squeezes all the stuff into the thing.
And of course,
why
it's
intuitive.
Yeah,
they put it there for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And if they didn't, they should think about that.
Mm-hmm. But it's great because I can still taste the tequila, which a lot of times in Palomas I feel like I can't.
Right. And that is why we use 2 ounces.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. We use 2 ounces.
And a reposado.
Right.
Which is bringing a little bit more kind of attitude to the party.
That aged flavor. Yeah. So there we have it. A Paloma. We're blazing through because these are some pretty easy to make cocktails.
Waz, what's your opinion on the LA fascination with like tahini as a rimmer?
Dude, I love tahini.
I'm into it
as a rimmer, dude.
Yes.
I like when we go to Dodgers games or whatever, and you get the $26 michelada.
Dude.
You get that big ass michelada, and they clump the tahini on the top. Dude. Give it to me. That is what I want. If you are not familiar with tahini, it's a dehydrated lime salt that is really, really popular out here, and it should be everywhere. It should be widely popular everywhere. You can totally put tahini into your Paloma if you want. The texture of it doesn't dissolve very well, so you'll definitely see it and feel it and taste it. But if you're into that, go for it. And this is just how I make the cocktails. You know, you can totally switch things up at home. If people watch me make my margarita and they say, dude, there's no splash of OJ in there, like, that's okay. You can totally put your splash of OJ in there. I see there's a question.
Kevin said that Picasso named his daughter Paloma.
Did he really?
Just a fun fact from Kevin.
He loved the
Good
cocktail that much.
Loud Kevin! Kevin's in the chat, dude. Oh, my dog. I love that.
He also said he holds his Jeroboams like that lady in the picture.
Smiling with gloves.
And with white gloves, which would be horrible to hold heavy glass.
Yeah, dude. What if it's
like, literally those gloves are to, like, not get grip glass to not leave a mark. Like that's particular gloves.
I can't even imagine the white glass or the white glove treatment at a restaurant. I'm not doing that. I'm not working there. There's restaurants for everyone. That's not one for me.
Not for me.
I would go to a restaurant and be served by someone wearing white gloves and say, "Man, I'm so sorry your manager is making you wear white gloves, dude. You can take them off for us if you want." It's probably what I'd say, and then they'd probably feel uncomfortable.
We'd take a stage there.
Yeah.
Just to like try to sell Jerobomb.
There we go. For those of you who don't know, a stage is like a test shift or like a sample shift, if you will, where a restaurant will let you come in, work with them for a night. It's generally really disorienting, working behind a new bar for the first time, and then doing like a full service with a bar that you're not familiar with. You get like one night to figure it out, and everyone judges you for it and says, "Man, that guy sucks."
You're like, "Of course I'm screwing it up. I don't know where anything is."
Exactly. So either you spend all day like memorizing the bar that you might not even get a job at,
Yeah.
Right. So I have this bottle here. I want to talk about tequila just for a minute. Tequila is a really special spirit in a lot of ways. I used to, I have a internal notebook of what I called gratuity percentage raising conversations that I would have with guests, where you flex a little bit of knowledge, have a good time with them, and maybe teach them something interesting about liquor, and then they make them feel more comfortable at your bar. I joke about gratuity raising, but honestly, like when you have someone sitting at your bar and you give them an unforgettable experience or something, you give them something to go home with, some new information, or maybe change their palate forever, I think that's really cool. And one thing I used to always talk about with people is my fascination, and call me a nerd, I don't give a shit. I am fascinated with the concept that across humanity, all over the world, every different culture has figured out how to make alcohol out of what's around them. Yeah. Just like, the Japanese with sake, Middle Easterners with arak, Mexicans with tequila, Americans with bourbon, people in the Caribbean with rum, French with wine, like every, Serbians with Slivovica, Russians with vodka, like every culture has their own alcohol, and generally speaking, well, maybe not, this is a really general statement, but for the most part, those cultures protect their history with a fiery, blazing passion, and oftentimes there are lots of rules associated with how to make their national alcoholic beverage, I suppose, is a really broad, sweeping brush of how to say that, because you look at rum, there's like no rules in a lot of ways, and then you look at whiskey, like bourbon whiskey, there's tons of rules, or Japanese whiskey, there's tons of rules. Yeah. Tequila is one of those where there are tons of rules. This is an alcoholic spirit distilled from agave. So agave are like big, giant cacti. They take around 14 years to mature. So they call them piñas when they're harvested, because these men called jimadores go out into these blazing hot, dry desert fields with these razor sharp they look like razors on broomsticks. It's incredibly dangerous, and they chip away at all of...
There's a picture of it on the top collar there.
Yeah,
if
okay.
you can get it close enough to the camera.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Looks like a pineapple with a bunch of stocky reeds,
or like an aloe.
And it's funny you call it a pineapple because they call them piñas once they are chiseled away. So what they'll do is they take these piñas from the fields that have taken 14 years to mature in a lot of these cases, even more sometimes, and then they cook them in big ovens to draw out and caramelize all the sugar, and then they mush them up. Some houses even like Patron. As much hate as they get for being a big brand tequila, they still use stone mills to grind up this pulp of roasted agave. Then they take it, throw it into a big pot still. Generally speaking, the good tequila and mezcal comes from a pot still, which is imagine a room made of copper with thin walls that are able to be heated. They put this mush into it, and then they heat it up after they fermented it. Sorry, I've explained the distillation process before. I could go into detail. I'm a nerd about this, like I said, but anyway, they distill this incredible alcohol, and it's really fiery and aggressive, much like a cactus is in real life. But it can only be made in the Jalisco region of Mexico, which is on the west coast. And there's a little town called Tequila. We were watching a hilarious documentary last night of this guy who's like so proud of his hometown, Tequila, Jalisco, Mexico. And the legend of the story is how tequila was discovered is lightning hit an agave plant and cooked it like immediately, or I guess fried it.
Yeah.
And it just, if you leave grape juice out on your counter in the sun for a couple days, it'll start naturally fermenting, and that's what happened just with the agave after being struck, and it made this alcoholic. They literally called it from the gods, which I tip the cap to, like respect.
Those are my gods.
So,
exactly.
like, what made them think like we should drink this now?
Exactly.
That's so. Yeah, I was impressed with that
pioneers.
person.
It's like we talk about the guy who like discovered fire. It's like that guy was on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
or
was,
like
he had a good day.
When they're like making sourdough and they're like, no, we gotta fold it a million times.
Yeah, exactly.
And you gotta beat it up.
Right.
And you gotta leave it again.
Yeah.
And it, like,
It's
how do
a
you get
smells
there?
like it'll kill you, but
Yeah.
it'll just make you feel
How do you
warm
get there?
and happy.
Exactly.
Some people violent, but mostly fun and good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nectar of the gods, man.
A
But
lot of kids.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
thus the population of Mexico exploded after this. No, I'm kidding.
Nothing to do with the Catholics.
Right, there you go. But this is tequila, though. It's a very special spirit. It cannot be called tequila unless it's from that region. And the way the aging process works, blanco tequila or all tequila is aged for the most part, unless you're getting it straight off the still, which is hardcore. But tequila is aged anywhere 0 to 2 months in American oak barrels is blanco. Anything 2 to 6 months is reposado, like you have here. It's a little bit yellow. And then anything after 6 months is, and correct me if I'm pretty sure it's 6 months, but anything after that is añejo, which means aged in Spanish. Mm-hmm. So like some people call it double añejo. That's just what those brands call it. But yeah, anything after 6 months is añejo. So little tequila lesson for you. There are so many ways to enjoy tequila that is not a paloma and a margarita, and we're about to get into that. So for those of you who haven't turned this off because I've been talking so much, we're
we're riding strong.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, I really like Espolón. They're good. It's fine. There are better tequilas. There are worse tequilas. But for $35, there is not a worse
Well,
tequila.
you're not going to get it for $35 at home.
Exactly.
But you could.
You could. Question.
JHR just wanted to thank you so much for doing this for the Harold Robinson.
Of course, it is truly a pleasure. We will, all of us here. Gold Diggers is a big fan of the Harold Robinson Foundation. And for those of you who don't know about the Harold Robinson Foundation before and their events, they throw the best fundraisers ever. They get a lot of awesome musicians involved. I've performed at the fundraisers. I'm a trombone player, for those of you guys who don't know. But I have performed at an event hosted by Charlie Tuna of Jurassic 5 and Craig Robinson at the Mint. It was out of control, super fun. It raised a ton of money. That was right before the pandemic hit, but their events are lit. Needless to say, the people who run the organization give a damn and are not afraid to party, which I'm a huge fan of. Yes, and it attracts musicians naturally, which is cool. So we're big fans of the Harold Robinson Foundation. And if there's anything more we can do, please let us know. We'll teach classes to anyone who wants to donate money to the cause. We love it. So there we go. What's next? Let's see. I don't remember what's next. Oh, dude. Oh, shit. It's the shot donation spree. There we go. Exactly. This is the part of the show where we set a timer for 5 minutes and we dispel a myth. So, back when bars were open...
we're on the clock.
Back when bars were open, and I'm going to pour shots here while we do this.
And donate.
Yeah, and donate.
Yeah.
Oh, right, of course.
As my mom says to my dad, get your wallet out.
Let's go.
Donate.
This is there's one. Yeah, it's 5 of us.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Exactly.
I want to hear
We
it.
should hear sometimes we hear the iPad make some noises of cha-ching. But there are myths. There are lots of urban legends. For instance, we talked about how when you feed someone bread when they have had too much alcohol
While they're blacked out.
Exactly. Bread doesn't. Let's go. Yeah. Love the donations. When you just eat bread after drinking a ton and you're completely blacked out, it doesn't soak up the alcohol. That is a myth. That is a lie. It is not true.
Yeah. As you poop out drunk bread.
Exactly. When the EMT shows up, they're not asking white or wheat. That's what we said. Dude, that was like one of the greatest lines.
White or wheat?
Exactly. The myth that we're going to talk about today is less ice does not mean more alcohol. So when you want when you go to a bar, and I'm not trying to vibe people here, I'm purely trying to educate, honestly, because a big part of the show is educating people how to act in bars when they return. Yeah. Because I know I'm going to go so hard at the nearest bar when things get back to normal. But we're here dispelling myths. And what were you going to say?
Well, I was and not like policing people's behavior, but also like this is also a really great way to get in.
Exactly.
And then you get better service, and you get the attention when you need it, and you get the respect back.
That is what we're looking for.
It's reciprocal.
All the time. So today's myth that we are dispelling is that less ice means more booze. Less ice means less water in your cocktail. And dilution, as we talk about week after week, is an essential part of making any kind of cocktail. One more for Ed, is that right? Thank you. Yeah. Ed just joined us. From the Gold. Hey, and Brittany too. Let's go, dude. Let's go.
Oh, Brittany.
Let's go.
I got you.
It's the shot donation spree. Welcome.
Oh, Jesus
Christ.
Well, we have more.
Those
Let's
are very
go.
cool.
Right at the right time.
Big boss.
All right, so less ice does not mean more booze. Less ice means less water in your cocktail, and trust me, if you've ever had a hangover, you will be grateful for every molecule of water that enters your bloodstream the night before. I promise you. If you want a drink that tastes more spirit forward, tell the bartender that, and maybe change your order. Or if you really want a double vodka cranberry, just tell them you want a double.
Yeah.
It's less of a hassle for everyone involved. If you like a smaller cocktail, maybe think of a different drink. There are thousands of cocktails you can choose from.
Get a sidecar. Throw a shot next to it.
Exactly. Or if you perfect example. Get your cocktail and then get a shot on the side, and you can mix it however the hell you want to. And I will never judge anyone for anything they order from me. Period. I'll laugh with you. As for instance, what was it? Jaeger Manhattan.
Right.
Like someone asked what was the most brutal drink someone ordered from me ever, and Jaeger Manhattan was that for me. And I saluted him and said sorry for his insides as I made this cocktail for him. But here we go. Does everyone want one?
Sure.
Yeah. Ooh, I got the one with the
Already had 2
pinstripe.
drinks.
Cool.
You're right, Haley.
I'm not going to not do a shot.
Thank you.
You don't have to.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no pressure. You don't have to do this if you do not want to. Here we go. Sorry I don't have salt and lime, but we're going to enjoy this the way it was meant to be enjoyed. So cheers, everyone, to the Harold Robinson Foundation.
Cheers.
Cheers. Lift them high. Right? Now the part where everyone gets quiet.
Oh,
I got loud.
All right, I haven't had Espolona by itself in a minute.
Trent and I had bun me for lunch and it ripped up the roof of our mouth.
I'm good.
Going down.
Espolona is it's great tequila. We love it. Ed is dying.
Dude, I'm like, pan that camera over here. I'm doing great.
Yeah, dude.
What's that?
Grapefruit juice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm living large.
I'm doing freaking great.
I'm doing fine.
My legs still fucking.
I've got Johnson & Johnson coursing through my veins right now, fighting so hard for my
that
immune
grapefruit
system.
juice is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It's because I
It's
juiced.
a little riffy.
That's true.
You did? You made
She juiced it.
I made the grapefruit juice.
We make all our fresh juices in-house. Fresh juices are the way to go. We talk about it week after week.
Way to go.
They are.
Yeah.
More environmentally friendly too.
Well,
They come in
yeah.
their own wrapper.
It's also like it's how you
Well
impress people.
Right.
Like that comes out in the cocktail.
Let's
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you for the donations. We love partying and
Cash
making money
flow.
for awesome kids who need it.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I have gotten emotional on this show before talking about how exciting it is when you, as a professional musician, who's we're touring, we're doing all the shit, whatever. After a show that we play in Los Angeles every month, Nikki and the homies, Nikki Glassby, if you're here, salute Nikki. Nikki gets her car that she rents because she lives in Austin. She rents a car every time, and we drive up to the camp and have a great time, surprise the kids, and we play a bunch of songs for them. And they're like, dude, it's the best. And I shouldn't even call them kids or young adults, honestly. They're like, it's the future of the Los Angeles music scene that we are working directly with. And there are so many things as adults. I can think back to as a kid, there are so many little moments that stick out in my life of like when I decided that being an artist was what I wanted to do. When I saw someone perform or whatever, I could talk about that for hours. But you never know as a performer now, as an adult, the lives that you might change just being around these kids. Like I said, I get emotional about this shit, but just being around kids and playing, you might play one riff on your instrument, or you might sing a lyric that like totally changes a kid's life, and they say, "Oh man, I have to do that." And you never know who the next Stevie Wonder is. So it's exciting in that regard. And then odds are those kids that you help will then in turn help their friends. And then when they get older, they'll do more good. So it's like a weird pyramid scheme of love. Call that my next album. How about that? Pyramid scheme of love.
We got to get Philip Bailey to do some vocals on that, bro.
Well, you know what's funny is Philip Bailey's son performs with Nicky and the Homies.
Oh, cool.
He's incredible.
Does he also do like kind of like falsetto-y?
Yes, he sings with Earth, Wind & Fire now.
Oh,
so like these
cool.
are not like, it's not just like a fun little band. It's like Brandon Brown, the MD of the Jacksons. It's Nikki Glaspie, who used to play with Beyonce, whatever, but more importantly, played with Dom Stefan and Nth Power.
And Nth Power.
Exactly. Who else, man? I mean, there's incredible musicians that are playing on that stage, and it's always for a good cause, and it's the Harold Robinson Foundation. So they're doing the most, and they have another cool event called Pedal on the Pier that is not happening right now, I think, because of the pandemic, but they're doing an alternative thing.
Is that in Chicago?
No, it's here. It's like I think they do like a beach day with the kids, which is cool.
That's great.
So there we go.
They Pedal on the Pier in September will be Off the Hook.
There we go, dude.
Okay.
Okay. If they're saying it's gonna be off the hook, you know it's gonna be off the hook.
They party,
dude. I've been part of these fundraisers. I drove to them, so naturally I didn't like really get after it. But next time I'm taking an Uber, dude. That's like the way to go. And
we're rolling up with 4-inch board shorts and Jirabon.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
Jirabon.
We're gonna cause problems.
Yeah, nothing better than a giant glass bottle I can leave at the beach.
Exactly, dude. My God.
Let it sink.
Oh, that? I threw that out there.
Exactly. Giving message in a bottle a completely new definition.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Trent was here as
well. Yeah, exactly.
I scream in it, cap it, and then throw it in
Please stop!
Exactly. But, yeah, that's the shot donation spree.
That's how we do it.
Exactly. Right. Let's go. You know what? For those of you just joining us now, I always forget to reintroduce everyone. Week after week, I'm here with Trent and Autumn, who make the show happen. I'm also here with guests Haley and Lucy.
Hi.
And, of course, the Gold Digger Studio staff, Ed and Brittany.
Woo! Yeah,
the friendliest staff in LA.
Truly, honest to God.
Honestly, though.
And look, not super impressive, not a high bar, but you are the friendliest staff.
No more shots for Trent. God damn.
No, dude, I'm seeing clearly.
That's true, right? No, man, we are so grateful to be here at Gold Diggers in East Hollywood, California. A 10-room boutique hotel upstairs, incredible, beautiful liquor playground downstairs, and then a beautiful recording studio in the back. Beck was here today.
Yay!
Are we at liberty to say that?
Maybe he was.
No, he's been
That's
here.
a rumor I heard
He's been here
from
to
a
record.
tabloid magazine.
Right.
At some point.
Yes.
Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure.
I believe I read that in National Enquirer.
There's a question.
Constantine is asking a very earnest question. Does more ice mean less booze?
No. Ice has nothing to do with how much alcohol is in the cocktail. If you're at a bar with any snuff.
Yeah. Like we said, the jig is the jig.
Exactly. You'll see we measure everything, and a lot of people think that this means you get less alcohol. You can do any of your own YouTube research or whatever. People have done studies that are free pour. If I'm like free pouring, not only if we're talking fluid dynamics here, if the bottle is more full, more liquor will come out.
Right.
If the bottle is less full, less will come out faster. So it's very inconsistent. And when building a cocktail program, as I have done, and trained professional bartenders, consistency is key. You should hold yourself to a high standard if you're drinking at home because you deserve it. The best cocktail you should make ever is the one you're making for yourself. I firmly believe that. And even if you're not a drinker, whatever you're creating for yourself, you should be making yourself the best food, whatever. But in terms of a professional bar situation, consistency is key. Your liquor collection will last infinitely longer. You can trust me on that if you're measuring everything. Mm-hmm. If you're like free pouring at home, I'm not going to tell you what to do at your crib.
But that's for Cuba Libre.
Yeah, well, even so, I like to measure
yeah,
it
oh, for sure, dude.
I like consistency across the board, and if you've had one too many at home, odds are that last one you're pouring is like half the bottle of your expensive Laird's apple brandy.
Yeah.
So that's the ice maker.
Yeah.
No need to panic, right? All right, cool. So that is the myth dispelled. Next, we're going to make and that's the Shots of Nation spree.
Yep.
You also do use a jigger at home, as we have seen.
Of course.
I'm not just bullshitting here.
No, you're not going to catch our boy sleeping. Never.
Dude, I'll be in the bag using a jigger. And can tell you from experience, you probably have seen it from experience.
In all honesty, you will be buried with your jigger.
Yeah, you know what? I have a gold one at home.
Like a scepter.
I have a gold one at home just like this. I have a gold bar set at home that I like to use, and I am Egyptian and I was born there, so buried
like
in
a king,
gilded
with
like a king.
Where's my spoon? With my spoon.
Thank you
and
for the
jigger?
money. Yeah, dude.
Or
Well,
maybe like this or whatever, just like that.
Yeah.
The women outlive the men. The women outlive the men. We gonna make this happen, T?
What?
Yeah.
Sorry?
The women outlive the men.
Exactly.
So
when
you gotta
bury
make this
me-
happen.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Well, I was hoping,
Okay.
We'll see.
give it the,
you
See
got
if
it.
you earn it.
that it's always sunny, When I die, just throw my body in the trash.
Autumn's like, let's burn it all. The jig, the
I'm a big cremation kind of guy.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Coffins are expensive.
Exactly,
Yeah.
dude.
It's always
Make an
planned.
infused cocktail with his remains.
Holy shit.
Oh shit!
Dude, I'll drink it.
Don't do it.
I'll be so deep in Alzheimer by that point,
Dirty
dude.
girl.
What is that? What is
When his dad died, he was cremated, and he mixed a little bit of his dad's ashes in with his lime.
Oh my god.
Oh, with his lot.
With his lines. Okay, in case you didn't
His
hear that.
lines of dialogue
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When,
for a play.
We're not going to Keith Richards, my ashes, please God.
Oh.
And I love talking about my own premature death as much as anyone, but let's
Dude.
keep things going. Speaking of putting poison into our bodies, we're going to continue on with...
Your dad is dead. You need to cut it.
I'm putting a kibosh on that conversation, dude. We're
Kibosh.
talking about good, plentiful, positive things for
Wholesome
children.
is the word.
Wholesome, yes.
Constantine says respect.
Okay, cool. Respect.
Yeah, it is a question.
Respect, question mark?
Question mark. Respect.
I'd say that's like one eye.
I mean, it's a whole nother level of cutting it.
I'd
Exactly.
say we'd have to ask.
All right,
A cocktail in honor of
Consent.
Autumn's home state.
Just get consent.
indeed. This is a cocktail in honor of Autumn's home state. This is a cocktail called a Yellow Rose of Texas.
She's the Yellow Rose
she
of
is
Texas.
the-
That's too off topic, but the Harbaughs, the Thompsons, and the Teagues are watching from home right now.
Hey!
They texted me that.
Let's
Wow!
go.
And that's where we had the fried turkey. It's,
Yes,
you know,
of course.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching so much. We appreciate it, and we hope that you're enjoying. I know the Teagues are a tequila family for sure. I tip my cap to that.
A tequila family.
Exactly.
Tequila!
Oh Lord, here we go. But I know they enjoy really, really good cocktails. In this case, very good cocktails. So I'm here to show you how to make the Yellow Rose of Texas, which could not be more appropriate. This one requires kind of a specialty ingredient, which you might be mad at me if you buy it because this is like a $70 bottle. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Ooh.
Yellow Chartreuse.
They're up there.
Why?
They're up there.
This is the Reposado Tequila we've been ripping and enjoying. A bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice and then simple syrup. Okay, so I'm going to briefly talk about Chartreuse here just for a second. Chartreuse is a French liqueur, one would call it. It's a really, really unique liqueur. It's made exclusively, and this is true, by blind French monks. They say that being blind, their other senses are heightened.
Yep.
Chartreuse ages or has levels just like cognac. There's VS, VSOP, Chartreuse. It is really expensive. The green Chartreuse is about $65 a bottle. This is easily one of the more expensive. Like for the bar is paying $65. So at the liquor store, it's like $80. The yellow Chartreuse, what makes it yellow, is it's made with saffron, which is the most expensive herb on the planet, as we know. So it is a really expensive liqueur that is used in minute amounts. So we were talking about it last week. If you're going to a liquor store and you are buying a bottle of tequila, get your base spirit, and then if you want to build out your home bar, I know it's expensive, don't be intimidated. Get your base spirit and then get a modifier. You don't have to buy the $60 bottle of Chartreuse. They make little bottles, which is great. But for instance, CJ was talking last week. You buy a bottle of gin at the store, pick up a bottle of Luxardo. I teach cocktail classes professionally. I have had the same bottle of Luxardo at my house since I moved to Los Angeles from Chicago 2 years ago. And I'm using it all the time. And you use it in minute amounts, and it doesn't go bad. If anything, it might get... it's not going to get better with age, but it doesn't go bad. And the door opens when you buy one bottle like this, or like one bottle of vermouth, one bottle of good.
That you keep in the fridge.
Yes, vermouth that we keep in the fridge. But when you buy a modifier bottle, you're opening up the door to hundreds more cocktails, or hundreds of different cocktails that you should experiment with and test your palate at home. This is like the nerdy part of it and why I get so excited about it. So if you don't have yellow Chartreuse, which is totally cool because it's difficult, rare, and expensive, you can take it out and you'll just be making a tequila sour, which is delightful.
Jake Lip, he only got green Chartreuse. Is that weird?
It's not weird. It's not a Yellow Rose of Texas, but it will still be tasty. And the idea is this is a really sort of funky, not funky, but sharp herbal injection. And green Chartreuse, it won't be bad. It'll just be different. And if anything, let us know what you think of it.
I at least feel like that one's a little more like floral.
This is
and
only
the other one is a little more like spicy.
Sure.
Like
well, this
baking
is
spicy
86 proof. That's 120 proof. So it's a big difference in alcohol content. This is like a bartender's shot as well. Like bartenders will do shots of green Chartreuse. It's definitely a nail in the coffin if you've been out drinking all night.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend it.
No.
But
the bijou, we had a couple of close to our heart.
We did, and that is. We might do that one in 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, that's Chartreuse for you. It's a really special alcohol. If you ever see Chartreuse VSOP on a menu, odds are your cocktail menu doesn't have prices on it. Let's just leave it at that. It's really expensive. Cool? So, expensive doesn't mean scary. It just means expensive. That's all. Cool? Next, I'm going to start building this cocktail. Like I say always, we have our beginning, our middle, and our end. Got a coupe glass for this one. I think this deserves a pretty coupe glass. Let's chill it while we're here. Let's chill the coupe glass. Sure. So a couple ice cubes.
I'm gonna smell this.
Yeah. I'll pour you some.
You want to try some?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Can I smell the green one too?
Yeah.
I truly have no idea.
You know what? You've never tasted this before, right?
I've never tasted
Perfect.
this.
Why don't you give us a little...
Yay.
Give us a...
We start
am
throwing
I on camera
around
right now? Should I?
No,
No, you're not. Well, your left hand might be in frame.
Do you want to? You can talk to me.
If you want to come back here, you can...
She'll be so
There you go. This is Lucy.
Mom, you're super close.
Wait, okay.
No. So go ahead and taste it and tell us what you think.
Well, it smells like alcohol.
Yes.
Yep.
Sweet, right?
Ooh. We've got a bit of a fennel thing. We've got a licorice thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little anesthetic.
Herbaceous. It's herbaceous, I would
Herbaceous
say.
is exactly
Very sweet.
how I describe it.
I can see how it's a nail in the coffin because you can just drink it and drink it and you don't even
Yes,
know
you
that you're
can.
drinking.
Exactly. The sweetness and the overpowering flavor distracts you from the alcohol content.
What
Especially-
is it made
I'm
from?
enjoying it.
It's a grain-neutral spirit.
Oh, so just
That's
like
Lucy,
steep.
everyone. Great job, Lucy. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you. Honestly, it's great to have someone who's never tasted something with us so that you can give us an honest analysis. We're always looking for that. It is a grain-neutral spirit, though, if I'm not mistaken. CJ, if you're in the chat, go ahead and correct me, please. But here, you wanted to
Smell.
smell them.
But
Sure.
it is. It's the recipe is a mystery.
You can just
Yeah, the recipe is a closely guarded secret. All that, there's
The
only
monks.
The monks have never seen it.
right. Just okay.
Oh!
Just
blind
in,
joke.
Come on.
Just in looking at the consistency of them, the yellow is a lot more syrupy than the green. Yeah, go ahead. You can smell that. Anyway,
Even though the green is older, the yellow is more syrupy.
I don't think age has
Oh.
anything to do with it.
Interesting. Okay.
It's
They both
probably-
taste like
it's probably
Malort
like
to
a
me.
taste and check.
This one
taste
is-
They both taste like
and check
Malort
situation,
liqueur.
right?
No, not Malort liqueur. Fernet liqueur.
Fernet liqueur.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going to say
it is
Malort, and these guys
Not-
over here cringing.
Not
The
Malort.
right?
Fernet liqueur.
Fernet we love. Okay.
Like a
the
sweeter,
green.
more distilled. Yeah, it's more spicy, like baking spicy.
Yeah, there we go.
Nutmeggy,
And
I
that's-
prefer the
cinnamony.
green. I
Most
just
people
prefer
do.
it.
I do
Green is
too.
nice.
Most people prefer the
Yes.
green. The yellow is a lot more rare.
So
and
whoever
hard
has the green, Lucy and I would probably prefer that green rose of Texas.
to find. Exactly.
Right, the green rose of Texas, more rare.
Right?
They call that
Someone
cocktail the weed.
Willie Nelson special.
Willie Nelson special, dude.
Which I owe Earl Teague a formal apology.
I didn't send that video.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No, I don't.
Continuing on with the Yellow Rose of Texas, I've added 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice and 1/2 ounce of simple syrup to the glass, and then I'm going to add 1/4 ounce of this. Like I said, I've taught private classes where I've made people, they wanted crazy cocktails, and I made them buy a bottle of the Kubler Absinthe, and we literally used 3 drops of it in the entire class. And they're like, well, what am I going to do with it? It's like, dude, it doesn't go bad. Whenever you want this cocktail, you can literally, use the 3 drops forever in that case. So let's see here. 1/4 ounce of the good stuff into the glass. This is my bottle. This is the bar's bottle, just so we don't get it messed up. And then 2 ounces of this tequila. This is an awesome cocktail. I've been building a cocktail database all through quarantine. Whenever I see something that kind of intrigues me in a book or on Reddit or anywhere on the internet, I'll look at whoever's recipe it is, chuckle for a second, and then make a reasonable recipe. Some of those old books, for instance, will say like 1/2 pound sugar, 2 gallons, cold crisp ice, and it's like, dude, that's not a recipe. So yes, question.
I have a question.
Please, yeah.
I am a mezcal fan.
Mm-hmm.
I know it is also an agave spirit, but
Sure.
a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could any of these recipes be? Could you
Subbed out?
sub mezcal?
So yeah, the easy answer to that question is absolutely. However, mezcal is expensive. We know this. I always am trying to make things cost effective for our home drinkers, as I am unemployed. We'll tip the cap. But one thing, and we'll do later with the Oaxacan Old Fashioned, is I'll show you, generally speaking, if you sub mezcal completely for tequila, you're almost doing yourself a disservice. If I were you, I would add 1/2 ounce of mezcal and strip this to 1.5 ounces of tequila, so that you get the mezcal flavor, but it's not. Mezcal, as you know, is a very powerful smoky spirit, and we're going to talk about mezcal in a minute. But no. I'm really glad you asked.
It was
this
a
question.
leading question.
No, it's a really good question.
And a really good answer too. I
is-
like the 1/2 ounce cut.
we love mezcal. It's Southern California. It's what we drink down here. But it's a very powerful spirit, and I think tequila has whiskey notes as it is aged in American oak. And I think I would just add mezcal to the tequila. So they play very nicely together.
Yeah.
And we will when we make a cocktail.
That's a great
later.
tip.
So there we go. We have the cocktail ready to go in here. It smells like tequila and lemon. And the thing is that this alcohol has a really high oil content, meaning all those herbs. Like if you take mint, slap it against your wrist, you get those oils on your hand. Imagine like a pallet of mint. Imagine pallets of these herbs, floor to ceiling. They're making lots of oil. So the oil is going to hang out closer to the top and make the cocktail very aromatic. Kind of a lengthy, nerdy answer, but this is like what beverage directors and bartenders across the globe are doing all the time to make sure that you have a good time when you're enjoying your drinks or taking your drinks to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So should you tip it and mix it to mix it so the oils are mixed, or just get the oil straight from the top every time you
You
pour
know
it?
what? This is a really good lesson for the absinthe, and I'm putting this aside. So perfect example of how you asked if you have to mix it or anything. No, the simple answer is no, because alcohol acts as an emulsifier. An emulsifier, like an egg yolk, is something that brings oil and water together. Mm-hmm. So when we throw off that emulsion, we throw off that level of oil and water. Absinthe is the perfect example. This is another classic raise my tip percentage experiment that I would do behind the bar. But take absinthe, right? A black licorice, intensely jam-packed with oil alcohol that's clear. I'm going to pour a little bit more so you can see.
Wait, why is it jam-packed with oil?
Because that's what gives it all the flavor. The flavor of
from
the
the
herbs.
herbs.
The way this was made is they distill the spirit and then they just throw herbs into it and then distill it again. So those oils, it's pretty crazy. And all these just like the tonic water that we had earlier that will be mentioned no more because I don't want to give anything away. It has a lot of those essential oils that are being pulled out, whether it be citric acid in tonic water or alcohol in this case. So, perfect example. I have my absinthe. It's clear. You guys can see it's clear. But the minute I put an ice cube in here and stir it around, it's going to turn white and look like milk.
Super
So I've thrown off the balance of the oil and water. You'll see in a second. There we go.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, man. we learn and get drunk too. It's fun.
Yeah.
We learn
as we add more
and
water,
we work to retain.
Exactly. As we add more
It is
water,
the
though,
work.
We work.
something like Chartreuse won't do this as quickly or like Absinthe.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, take a second there.
Yeah, you're already getting cloudy.
Yeah.
So it's like when coconut oil is clear in the summer and it's cloudy in the winter.
Sort of, except this we're throwing off. If you add water to it, that's kind of what we're talking about. So you can see it's
Right.
getting milky right
Yeah.
here. It's turning.
Yeah,
red.
see?
So there we go. Now it looks like milk. It's no longer clear because we have thrown off that emulsion. And for all of my science majors out there, or people who are into chemistry, the solution we have made, the water throws off the ability of the oil to be emulsified with the water. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I'm talking
Yes.
crazy.
Yep.
Autumn's looking
Yes.
at me like I'm
I
crazy.
wasn't listening.
Oh, I got it.
Sorry.
It's my partner, everyone.
Jigger, stir
I'm
spoon,
trying.
and the
I'm
casket.
chatting about the
Right.
Jugo with Kevin.
No, it's quite all right. So there we go. That's a quick lesson in emulsion and
Do you want that,
oils
Haley?
that are dissolved into the alcoholic beverage, if you will, or the liqueur.
Yeah, the liqueur.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to drink that.
Yeah.
If you
I
want
think-
the straight absinthe, go for it.
It's a treat. It is a treat.
Honestly,
Yeah,
Here,
throw a little.
I'm gonna add some
yeah,
soda
yeah,
water
yeah.
to it just because
Yeah,
It
yeah.
reminds me
Maybe
that I
a
want to buy a
sugar
bottle.
this
cube.
is pure black liquor.
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
It's so
There we
tasty,
go.
though.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's fun.
So that is a little lesson on emulsification. That we'll talk. Yeah, it's intense. Yeah.
Enjoy Toulouse
Is
Lautrec.
this the kind that makes me trip?
No,
No.
that's
No wormwood.
Deep cut
as
joke.
CJ said last week, the wormwood thing was made up. That people made up the fact that they saw things so that people wouldn't buy absinthe.
Right.
Back in the day, it was like a weird, deep racist.
Double lane.
Yeah,
Oh.
totally.
Yeah,
lame.
yeah. There's no.
You're gonna
like,
tell me I'm gonna see shit and then I'm not, and then people are gonna make fun of me for doing it. That's
Can I
lame,
get this
dude.
drink
I'm
back?
out. I don't want any part of that, right? Yeah, send it back.
People
Pernod-
were just dumping
the future
tabs
is
of
full of
acid
Pernod
into
parties.
absinthe.
Pernod, yeah. Pernod is a type of absinthe.
Yeah.
And people used to apparently have Pernod parties where they would take a sip of the Pernod and it would
Then have some
change the
chocolate.
taste of the chocolate, the almond,
Yeah, have
the
a sip of
whatever.
Pernod, have an orange wedge.
It's
Sure. Have a sip of
delightful.
Pernod.
I would
It's
go.
fun.
It's
yeah.
fun.
We have Ricard at our house, but Pernod is definitely a thing. I'm gonna shake this cocktail now.
Yeah. Yellow Rose of Texas.
This
Here
is
we-
the Yellow Rose of Texas.
Stars
Back
at
to the Yellow
night.
Rose.
Exactly.
Big and bright.
Remember when we're shaking that we are we're trying to go for the maraca, that sound, that chicka 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 sound, and we're not like rapidly stirring it, right? We're like this because we're chilling, diluting, and aerating the cocktail. I know it's done because I can hear the air trying to escape. I can take my fingernails, scrape a little bit of ice off the outside. And one of these days, we're going to film a video on how to get your tins unstuck.
I
Great
need that. I need
series.
to know that.
That's a thing for old Autumn downstairs. When
Autumn downstairs.
I'll hear Autumn yell,
Actually, I can see it.
as she's trying to
I know
open
it.
up our tins.
I've been downstairs.
And now we're going to do something different. We're going to double strain this cocktail. So double straining is important when you're serving a cocktail up because it is getting all of the shattered ice out of our shaker. We don't want that extra layer of like shattered ice across the cocktail, diluting it any further. And we want that beautiful layer of bubbles on the top. And we know we did it correctly if, when we're done, we can take a little ice patty out of our double strainer. We don't want this floating in our cocktail. It's really
Drink
important that you know
Do
what?
it. You won't.
You won't.
Now
won't.
I fucking
Do
have
it.
to.
You won't.
Eat it!
The whole thing. The
It's
whole
gonna be
thing.
nice, but it's gonna hurt.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's just cold.
it just tastes like tequila and lemon and like cold.
Cool.
Which, I mean, that's cool, but I'd rather drink this fire cocktail.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
every week I want to like eat.
Have the slushy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Trust
maybe
me, dude.
1 week, pour them all together. If you get tips, I'll drink it.
No, dude. Yeah, I love it, right?
Well, we need gold diggers to go in on a slushy machine
Exactly.
for us, because then we can make a
Yeah,
master mix and
baby.
keep throwing it in there
Beautiful.
over months and months. Then we'll have a master slush.
All right, so what we're gonna do here? That sounds awful. What we're gonna do to
I know Ed seemed excited.
well, hey, what we're gonna do to garnish this cocktail is I'm gonna take a little bit of lemon skin. I don't want any of the fruit. Notice there's no fruit. It's just the rind. All the oil that is living in this peel, I'm going to express across the top of this cocktail. This is like a fancy thing bars do. It's optional if you don't want your cocktail to be perfect. But if you want your cocktail to be perfect, then we're going to take this and fold it in our hands across the top like that. You didn't really see anything, but looking at it from an angle, I see a little oil slick of those lemon oils across the top. And then if you want to be fancy, you can balance it on the top or just push it in, doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt the drink. But there we have it, a Yellow Rose of Texas. I know I did a good job shaking it because the bubbles are appearing at the top around the outside, like I can see there. And it's got, it just looks like the right consistency.
Yeah, really even cloudy tone.
Yeah, who would like this one?
Autumn.
The Yellow Rose of Texas?
I mean, it's autumn.
Drink it.
Y'all been working all day.
Yeah, they've been working all day, right?
Pretty even working.
With
I've
Beth?
been here since 8. No. Don't worry about it, but you can see something on James Corden very, very soon.
Oh, James.
There you go. Love it.
We got some science from Kevin Capuzzo if you're ready for it.
Please, hit me with it, Kevin.
An emulsifier promotes the attraction of polar compounds, water, alcohol, to non-polar substances, oils. When they're attracted, they don't separate like a non-emulsified water-oil mixture.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Citric acid, alcohol, and the main components of soap help make emulsifications.
Love it.
Cool.
Thank you, Kevin. That is exactly, dude. You can call Kevin a nerd, but he'll go toe to toe with you on a beer drinking competition. I guarantee you.
No, I was joking.
No, I know. I was going to say we're all nerds in here, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd about music. I'm a nerd about. You're a nerd about sound recording. I'm a nerd about sound recording. I'm a nerd about everything. So there's so much to get excited about.
Ed Wood.
Another question.
Ed Wood.
So Jake says that the green rose is very good, and he will make it again.
Good. Yeah.
I'm honestly, I want to try that.
I want to try that too. We will maybe do that on a later date.
Yeah.
But that is honestly a delightful cocktail. It's a really great way to use up your yellow chartreuse if you have yellow chartreuse.
I got a little hanging out.
You got a little bit hanging out.
There's a little on the bar cart.
It's definitely a deeper cut. Like it's not a you could call it at a reputable cocktail bar and they would probably be able to make it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also one that you could easily play with, which is cool. You could mess like the great question of tequila mezcal, throwing off that balance is totally cool. Maybe adding some Peychaud's bitters to it. Like there are a lot of it's a really awesome base level cocktail that is greater than the sum of its parts, but also could be expanded into a lot of different things, which I'm sure bartenders across the country have done. Like a green rose of Texas is probably green chartreuse, if I had to guess.
Right.
That's
That's Jake the green shirt. Who's the one that I was asking?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Delightful.
Which would also be a fun one to do that mezcal cut with. Because the
Yeah.
mezcal would play pretty nice, I think, with the green chartreuse.
Mezcal plays pretty nice with everybody.
She certainly does.
All right.
Speaking of her,
Exactly. Okay, so we've been doing shaken cocktails thus far. This is an opportunity for you to flex your bartender skills.
Oh, Trent, I'm happy for you.
This is a cocktail we've done on the show before, but Angela asked me if we could do cocktails with agave spirits or with tequila, and I thought, yes, a tequila old fashioned is to die for. A tequila mezcal cocktail is also to die for. So, generally speaking, we always add the cheapest ingredient first. In this case, it's going to be the agave nectar. I just have the 365 light agave nectar. I didn't make a syrup out of this, meaning I didn't add water to it. Generally speaking, if you're just putting honey into a cocktail, if you're just putting agave nectar into a cocktail and you just expect it to dissolve, it's not going to do that. You want to dissolve it into water first before you put it into the cocktail, or else you'll just have a little puddle of honey stuck to the bottom of your glass. Just like tea, even hot tea, if you put honey into it and you don't stir it, you don't mix it around, it's going to just live at the bottom. Same thing, you want to dissolve the honey into water. For that reason, this is the perfect opportunity to talk about. This is the gold fashioned syrup that I make by hand at our kitchen at home. This syrup has, it's way popular. I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really excited about everyone who's purchased it. We just sold the 200th bottle of 8 ounce.
Wow.
It's a huge deal. Yeah, we're really, really happy. The response has been off the chain, so much so that I have made a 4-ounce bottle that is available in packs of 3, 5, 12, and 24. Shipped a lot of those out this week as we dropped it this week. Really proud of it. The idea is you add a 1/4 ounce of this to any spirit, 2 ounces of any spirit, and instant old fashioned. So it plays really well with tequila, mezcal, gin. Honestly, is a fire old fashioned. It's available at verygoodcocktails.com or my website alexwasili.com. But I prefer if you bought it from verygoodcocktails.com. $25, $15. If you get a case, the prices are way more in your favor. But yeah, I'm going to not use those today. I'm going to just show you how to make one from scratch in case you don't have the syrup. Cool? We're going to grab Angostura bitters. I didn't put that on there because it's kind of, you know what, let's do Trinity bitters.
Yeah, I'm like, we can do Trinity, you know, it's the implication.
Exactly. Okay, so Trinity bitters. This is this was not, by the way, this cocktail, none of the ingredients were on the ingredients list, so if you're panicking at home, don't worry. We're going to get to the last cocktail soon. But these 3 bottles of bitters are something that should live on your shelf at home.
Yes.
As CJ called it last week, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? Holy Ghost, right? I don't know that.
Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, it's synonymous.
Hail Satan, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how any of that works.
The 6, and the other 6.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Praise him.
Exactly. Praise him. In this case, I'm gonna let's do the agave nectar. And this is light agave nectar, meaning like it.
That's thin.
Exactly.
She's thin.
We want the thin version.
365. She shops at 365.
I'm gonna add a quarter of the agave nectar. What up, Mackenzie? Mackenzie, the woman who made this all possible. Everyone at home, give a big round of applause for Mackenzie.
The fearless leader.
Mackenzie
and
runs.
Proud new dog owner.
Exactly. Mackenzie runs this joint.
One more week.
One more week.
I'm gonna grab this bottle. I have Bozal in the well. Yeah, or Bonnet.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
So, just as Haley asked earlier, which is an incredible question, a Oaxacan Old Fashioned you would think is just pure mezcal. And in that case, that's totally cool. But mezcal, the way it differs from tequila is when they're making that mash, they cook the agave. Generally, they cook it in an oven for tequila, like in a big pressure cooker. And then with mezcal, it's a lot more hands-on. They literally cut them up and bury them. They build a fire out of wood and bury them and let them cook underground, giving it a really earthy flavor, but also a charred, like liquid smoke flavor. And not like cooking liquid smoke. It's like an intense charcoal campfire flavor, which I think people are either drawn to or they abhor. So I would say it's 80-20. 80% of people, in my experience, love mezcal. 20% are just like, I can't do it. So it's a really, I hate when people say acquired taste. It just seems like people are talking down to you. Acquired just means you bought it and you tasted it. That's all that means. But if you've never purchased it, give it a shot. And if you don't like it, your friends, 80% of them, odds are they'll really like it. So in this case, I'm going to add a 1/2 ounce of mezcal. There we go. And then I'm going to add 1.5, there that goes, 1.5 ounces of our Reposado tequila. And then, like I said, we're going to stir this cocktail. So, like we said when we were shaking, we're doing 3 things. We are chilling, diluting, and aerating. With stirring, we're doing 2 things. We are chilling and diluting. We don't want to aerate, in fact. We want this to be smooth. We want this to be really, really even keel, really tempered. We're just adding water and chilling. So I'm going to add ice. And this, as I say, in the private classes, in the live streams, whatever we do, is something that unfortunately you just have to do to get good at it. You can watch someone else stir a cocktail online, whatever, but the quality of your ice, the barometric pressure of where you are, the humidity, the spirit that you're using, the proof of the spirit that you're using, the proof of the bitters that you're using, everything is different in every single situation. Say Mackenzie down at the other end of the bar is making an old-fashioned with whiskey, she's going to stir for a different amount of time. Generally speaking, though, for the home bartender, you can set a timer for 30 seconds of stirring. 30 seconds of stirring or 45 seconds of just letting it sit. This cocktail is cooking itself right now. As we say, shaking a cocktail is like cooking on high heat or boiling. Stirring a cocktail is like simmering or keeping it really, really low key. What up, James?
Hi, James.
Hey, dude. So I'm going to stir this cocktail. For those of you at home who have been making margaritas during my diatribe of talking, if you have someone with you who wants an old fashioned, you can put this off to the side, and then in the time it takes to make the shaken margarita, this will be done if you're not stirring it. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Prove it.
Right?
Yeah. Make some margaritas.
Is that a challenge, right? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stir this though. But when you're stirring, you can. This is a fancy bar spoon, but you can use a regular spoon. You just want to make sure you go down to the bottom in case anything is sticking to the bottom. And you'll notice my left hand. I'm right-handed. My left hand's not touching it like this because I don't want to warm the glass. You'll also notice this is glass. You don't want to do this in plastic. And my metaphor for that is if you're making marinara sauce, you put it into a plastic Tupperware container. The next 3 things you're using that Tupperware container are going to have marinara sauce oils on the inside. Glass doesn't adhere to flavor, or vice versa. Flavor doesn't adhere to glass. Yeah. So we always want to use glass. Use a pint glass, use a cup. I don't care what it is. Just use glass for sure.
Good to know.
That's also a great explanation for like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I'm an avid cook.
Yeah, use glass for as much as you can. Plastic.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why.
Yeah, because it adheres to flavor. So we're getting there. The glass also will give you a much better idea of when it's done. When the outside of the glass just starts getting that little cloudy sheen, we're not there yet. You might think this is taking forever, but honestly, we're taking the burn away. We don't want any heat on this. We want this to be smooth like butter. And another really good way to tell is when the ice starts getting smooth. So you'll notice ice. Yeah, there's still some rough edges on the outside of that you can kind of see. We're not there yet. But by stirring, we're agitating it, making it go even further. I'm touching it, but only with 2 fingers at the bottom.
Stabilizer prongs.
Exactly. All right, and this is looking pretty done to me. And the reason why I'm stirring it for so long is because I don't want to give someone a glass of lava. I don't want someone to be like, oh man, this is hot. And CJ said he likes to, pour it a little bit hot because we're going to pour it over ice and it's going to mellow out. And the drink will change over time. But in this case, I want to give someone something really easy to drink because mezcal by itself is pretty hardcore. Okay, should be good now. I'm going to put 2 ice cubes into my glass that I have waiting for me. And I'm going to grab, this is for Trent, right? Bartender technique, like pro bartenders or whatever are supposed to leave the spoon in, and you hold it like this with one hand, and then just look at that. It should look like it should look like a big glass of water that you added a couple drops of soap to kind of smooth it out, if that makes sense. It should look. We shouldn't see any air bubbles. If there's air bubbles, it's just because of the ice. But this cocktail is done. It's nice and light colored. It should be. We're using mezcal and tequila. And then for mezcal and tequila, I like to garnish with another lemon coin. Where is my knife? There it is. So grab your sharp knife. Once again, fingers in, knuckles out. Just grab a big chunk of the skin. No fruit. We don't want juice in this cocktail. And I'm going to take the lemon peel side out and just lightly express it over the top. So it's going to smell like lemons. It's not going to taste like lemons. And then if you want to be chefy about it, can rub the inside of the glass, and then if you can float it on an ice cube, go for it. But there you have it, an old fashioned. That is how I would make a Oaxacan old fashioned. One of my favorites is one of my dear friends, Ian Adamczyk, had a cocktail he calls Oaxacan on broken glass, which made me laugh so hard. It's a hardcore mezcal cocktail, I think, that would make you sprint to the bathroom if you chugged it, kind of thing. So
Jesus Christ.
That's how we like to do. That's pot gin, right? Exactly, pot gin. But there we have it, the Oaxacan Old Fashioned, sweetened with agave.
Agave nectar.
Oh, Trent.
We love it.
Thank you, bud.
We love it.
Love you, buddy.
So it should smell like lemon, right? We have our Trinity of bitters. I've done bitters diatribes on other days. We put these
on. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There we go.
That is
should be
velvety with the half-ounce mezcal.
It should be easy as hell to drink now.
No, much less aggressive than other ones I've had.
Yeah,
where it's just straight mez.
I mean, and that's totally cool.
Straight
But tequila and whiskey have so much in common in terms of the way they're aged in American oak barrels. That's like a strict rule. American oak. New American oak, meaning not used. That is a thing when whiskey manufacturers make bourbon. They have to use new barrels. What the hell are they doing with thousands of used barrels? They're selling them to rum companies, to wine companies, to sherry companies, for bourbon-aged barrels, beer companies.
Beers now, yeah.
Exactly. So that's the thing.
Barrel-aged syrup.
Yeah, there you go. Next up. Okay, cool.
Ooh.
That's right. This cocktail, I'm going to put in a glass that it probably doesn't belong in this glass, but I'm going to put it in this glass anyway because I love this glass. This is a Nick and Nora glass designed for Crusta cocktails. I'm not making a Crusta right now. I'm making a Jack Rose. This is an inherently American cocktail using Applejack, which is the Americans', I guess you could call it like line drive, grindy hit into the infield. This is apple brandy.
Yeah.
Apple brandy, or brandy, first of all, is an alcohol made out of fruit. There's tons of kinds of brandy. Brandy is like a huge...
Slivovica and
Right,
Vakia.
exactly. What do we have here? We have...
There, it's back there, the Jeviga.
Yeah, here we go. So what's this made of? Cherries?
That's probably plum.
Oh yeah, plum. Yep, there we go.
Or apricot.
Product of Serbia. This is grapes,
Yeah.
right? There's all kinds of brandy. This is made with apples. And there is a really amazing spirit called Calvados, which is from the northern part of France. That is a really, we talk about rules in making alcohol, strict rules from the Normandy region of France, where some say the best apples in the world grow, which is awesome. I've had Calvados; it's delightful. This,
it's very good.
Imagine like eating at a really awesome fine dining restaurant. That's Calvados. This is the dive bar.
Yeah.
This is Laird's Applejack. They, for a while, it was really hard to get a hold of this stuff because I think they were having problems with their distribution and or their company. But a Jack Rose is made with Applejack, and there are no substitutes for this. If you wanted to make a brandy sour, you could put in brandy instead of Applejack. But since we're using Applejack, it's a Jack Rose. So you might think, does it taste like Apple Jacks? And the answer is no. This tastes like fire water that you maybe shouted the word apples at one day. It smells more like jeez, it smells like whiskey. And you know what's cool is they make, and I'm wondering, Mackenzie, why this is on the giveaway shelf. This is the 12-year bottle of 100 proof.
I don't think it is. That's
Okay.
kind of like a giveaway plus mixed, or maybe not, but I don't think that's a giveaway.
If you give me permission, I will make this Jack Rose with this 12-year.
Go for
Yeah,
Okay,
with the house blend.
I guarantee it's been there a long time, and that's how much has been used.
Okay, cool.
So
I mean,
let's give it a moment for it.
somebody hand wrote the batch number, the date of bottling, and the bottle number on this one. So you know what?
Does it smell right?
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Of course.
Didn't we? Well,
Doesn't go bad,
We
you know?
tried. Well, but we tried that. Like, if people were pouring other shit into there.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
We don't do that
Yeah,
here.
like-
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
No, this is
I
great.
was like, what?
So, yeah, if you can find this, buy it because
Was it on
Laird's
the left
is
or the
rare.
right?
It was down here.
I think like Laird's hand
Yeah,
writes
interesting.
the batch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
I was like, has that bottle been down there and people have been like pouring stuff in for staff shots or something?
God.
Like, what do you
What
like?
the
No, what the hell business runs itself like that, Trent?
Owl?
Yeah, the owl maybe. Yeah, sure. You know what? No disrespect to the owl.
Yeah.
By the way, we're doing a fundraiser for the owl on live one next week. Yeah, exactly. And their staff,
Wow.
right. Next week,
Wow.
I guess this is a great time to plug next week before I make this
Why
final
you don't
cocktail.
get to come to every show, Hale.
Yeah, no, dude. Next week we have a special guest. Zach Marks will be in the house. Zach is an incredibly talented drummer and friend of mine. We've been friends for a better part of a decade, and he'll be. I can't decide if I want to make drinks for him and talk to him, or if I want to make him make drinks for me.
little both.
We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
mix.
But next week he's the guest, and I'm excited to have a conversation with him about his life and journey through music, and also with his favorite cocktails. But next week our beneficiary of the class will be the Alive One group out of Chicago, where Zach performs every Thursday when it's not closed with his group, and they have an incredible staff. They do so much for musicians in Chicago, and they have a big fund for all of their staff that has not been able to work through the pandemic. So, all right, back to the Jack Rose. This cocktail this is Grenadine. Grenadine is pomegranate syrup, not cherry, not any other red fruit. It's not like grape, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It is pomegranate. It should be a beautiful bright red color. This is equal parts sugar and pomegranate juice. That simple. Cool. So I'm going to add, as we start with the cheapest ingredient first, this is a shaken cocktail, by the way, 1/4 ounce of our bright red pomegranate syrup. This is really not going to affect the flavor as much as we think. You know what? I can't make this cocktail with really nice brandy. Honestly, this is supposed to be made with Roadhouse Applejack, and I'm going to do it justice.
Yeah.
Grab that out
The
of there.
two brandy is pretty good too.
Yeah, you know what? We did taste that. This is Applejack, though. The Jack Rose. I'm going to sail the ship into the ground. This is like a super traditional American cocktail. Okay, 3 ounces of... What's up?
I was just going to say, speaking of, this doesn't have anything to do with Titanic, right?
Oh,
Like, was
no, the
Titanic
Jack Rose.
inspired?
No.
That being said...
I'm really
Great question.
asking.
It's funny you asked that because years ago, when I was behind a bar in Chicago, we had what we called the Titanic special, quote, "It's going down," with it was a shot of rosé and Jack Daniels mixed together that we called the Jack and Rose. It was something fucked up, but Colin O'Brien had his hands involved with it, and I remember saying Titanic Wednesdays, "It's going down." Was the joke. That I guess it's too soon for that still.
No, dude, are you kidding me?
I thought it was totally
The
fair
Titanic,
game.
like,
Over 100 years.
1919.
Is that right? Is that the rule?
Yeah, it's
1912,
going down.
1913.
They're yelling, iceberg.
Yeah, exactly.
1912.
Brutal.
Exactly right.
Okay, so I have my pomegranate syrup, my lemon. Actually, I don't have my simple here. I'm going to put that in. 2 ounces.
Cool.
And then 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. And for those of you saying, man, there's so much sugar in these cocktails. Okay, there's 1/2 ounce of sugar. Let me just show you how much. And this is half sugar, half water. In my hand, I will show you. It's barely enough to fill my palm. And that, it's 1/2 ounce of sugar.
It's half of that,
Like
right?
people drinking their Coca-Colas at home saying, dude, there's so much sugar. Like, I could make 40 cocktails and they would have maybe the same amount of sugar as one Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
You know?
as your big gulp.
Exactly, and that's cane sugar. That's not like it's not partially hydrogenated
fructose,
soybean oil
yeah.
or high fructose corn syrup. Okay, we're gonna shake this cocktail. I can see inside it's a really nice pink color already. When we aerate the cocktail, fun fact, we're adding the color white to the cocktail with the air bubbles that are going to be in here. So if it's kind of a dark rosy-ish red yellow, imagine adding white to that color, like painting a picture, right? Fill your shaker 2/3 of the way full with ice. Just like that. And then we're going to shake the cocktail. Like I say, week after week after week, chilling, diluting, aerating. We want to aerate the cocktail. The ice acts as a piston. It should sound like a maraca. Cool. I know it's done because I can hear the air trying to get out. It smells amazing. I see the beautiful white foam. And then we're going to double strain this cocktail. Where is my strainer? Oh well. Into this beautiful Nick and Nora glass. And we're double straining because we don't want to get that extra layer of ice in there for any reason. We don't want that.
Wow.
And fun fact, we say every time, when you let that ice layer, when you just dump it in there, it's called party girl style. And that is literally...
Nothing wrong with party
if you
girls.
want a party girl daiquiri, that just means you poured it in with this little ice chip in there that we don't want. Cool? We love water in the cocktail. It's an essential ingredient, but we don't want that much water.
Right.
As far as I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, this cocktail has no garnish. This is done. And the idea is you serve it in the prettiest glass you have so that you don't need a garnish. People are so distracted by how pretty it looks.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
We do love a Nick and Nora glass. This is a 5-ounce glass. And they're normally made for crustas, which we learned about last week. A crusta doesn't have sugar in it. It has sugar on the outside of the rim of the drink. They'll roll it in sugar the night before, leave it in the fridge so it kind of cakes itself on, and then as you drink it, you move the glass around and get a little bit of sugar on your tongue. Drink the tart drink, and then the sugar dissolves and leaves you with a lovely sugary flavor, I guess.
And last week, blue tongue and teeth for us.
Yeah, exactly. We had blue crustas last week, which were awesome. Who would like the Jack Rose? This one, Brittany raised her hand up high.
Brittany.
Did you raise your hand for that one or no?
No.
There you are, milady. Too easy to drink. Yeah, guys. Of course.
Perfect for Brittany.
Should we make a green rose? Do we have time?
You know what? Yeah, dude.
Whip one up real quick?
What time?
I mean, we got time. You're a pro.
Who cares?
Especially if we're not talking over you.
Oh, man. I'm kind of curious.
I'm interested in the green rose.
Sure.
Do we want to cut with mezcal or straight tequila?
I would say let's go with the original.
You know the
tequila.
one. You know the
Oh,
one.
yeah, dude. Please. I thought we don't want that song anywhere near. I'm going to make a green rose of Texas, and I'm coining this right now, and I just want to taste what Jake Lip tasted, and I want a cocktail for myself. And you know what? I have another Nick and Nora here somewhere.
Those are the
Where's that?
Jake Lip also said that he had a bottle of Applejack from Wollersheim Distillery, and he killed it very quickly. Their bottled and bond brandy is super good.
From
Really? In Wisconsin?
Wollersheim? We went
In
for
Wisconsin?
Trent's mom's birthday
Oh my
to
God.
Wollersheim.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my parents have been Case Club members for years.
Oh, yeah, they have it. It's
Whoa.
true.
The fuck is a case
They
club?
sell those
I'm
Wollersheim
down.
wines
Dude, I
at
salute-
Piggly Wiggly
Dude.
for like $3 a
The
bottle.
German vineyards don't fuck around.
Dude, the Case Club. I'm sold. I'm gonna
They
work
really do
kinda
sell their
quickly
bottles
here.
of wine for like $3 at Piggly Wiggly.
The Green Rose of Texas with Espolón tequila. This one's for you, Allison Muratis. If you're watching, she is the Espolón Campari rep for the Midwest.
Yeah,
Oh.
Allison.
Dear friend of ours.
Yo, what's up?
Wow. I think this is going to be, some might call it, very good.
Yeah.
And for those of you just joining us, this is the last cocktail we'll be making of the evening. But we are supporting the Harold Robinson Foundation. Cheers to them. Yeah, man.
Well, real quick while you're off guard.
Yeah.
Desert Island cocktail.
Daiquiri. Forever.
All right.
I'll have a daiquiri every day until I die.
With what rum?
Yes. Honestly,
Do you
that's the
love
part
rum?
of the trick, or that's the part of the trick answer to a question like that. Is I can use any rum at any time. If I had to choose a rum, though, I'd say rum agricole,
Yeah.
which is a really earthy.
A little for the boys.
Yeah, you know what? Here, I have a tiny bit left in here. You did ask for this cocktail, and I made it for myself. It's
Oh,
very
no.
cruel.
I was saying the Nissan for the boys.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Here is the Green Rose.
But yeah, we'll take the shaker.
Ooh, I like
take
the way
the
you're
shaker
hitting
finish.
that thing.
Yeah, man. Little strategy. Dude, you know, here, come here and try this.
Yeah, Ed. This is Ed, everybody. This is Ed.
Ready?
Yep, I'm having slush.
This is cold. It tastes like tequila. Yeah, as he throws it in the sink. I told you, dude. Yeah, this is sick, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, there you go. I gotcha. So like I said, it doesn't taste
Don't
like...
do that at home.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste bad. But it's not great. So there we have it, the Green Rose of Texas.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, I just want to thank everyone for being here, for everyone at home being so patient with me talking my ass off about how much I love agave spirits. Thank you to the... Yeah, cheers. Right? Thank you. Oh, wow, that's really great. It's good with green Chartreuse. It's a lot stronger.
Thanks,
for sure.
Jake.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank the Harold Robinson Foundation for all of the hard work that they do daily to take care of the kids who deserve it the most, in my opinion. If there's anything I can do for you guys, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if there's anyone who needs to get in touch with anyone from Harold Robinson, just reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction. We'll see you here next week. A little earlier next week at 5 p.m. with our dear friend Zach Marks, raising money for the Alive One Fund, the Alive One Employees Fund. That's going to be a riot, let me tell you.
Well,
We're
I've
making...
been so
You're-
drunk at a live
Yeah,
one.
dude. I've
You're
been...
telling me.
I've been
Only,
so
only
drunk in
ever
the live
drunk.
I mean, I've never been drunk at the Owl.
Dude, yeah, well...
If
let's
you've
just
been
say-
to the bathroom and back, you're not drunk.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's up to each individual person, I suppose. But we're super proud always to be partnering with awesome organizations like Harold Robinson, Foundation. Check them out online. They do tons of events and opportunities for kids that really deserve it. And yeah, this will be up all week, accepting donations. It's up forever, but during this week we accept donations throughout the whole week in case anyone is late to the stream, and then we donate at the end of the week before the next stream. So yeah, we're proud to be here. Thank you so much. I'm Alex and Celia. This is Very Good Cocktails. Cheers.